So hey, what's up guys, NPS3D here and welcome back a new tutorial. So in today's tutorial is going to be a Hollywood movie title. The movie name is Aquaman. So when I see the trailer of Aquaman movie, I just got amazed because there are a lot of detailing on everything. The most of the scenes completed inside the water, you will see actually. But suddenly I saw the DC title, you know what it means, DC, and also the main title of the main movie Aquaman, which comes in the very last, called Aquaman, right? So here is the result. Let me show you what we are going to recreate today. I already posted this preview on my YouTube channel, but let me show you the full preview once again.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
And obviously this music is I downloaded from Audio Jungle. I will also put the link so you can go there and check this audio, and if you love this you can just buy it from there. So let's get started and let's create this title. The first step for creating the main title is a background. So when I see the title, so I just thought how I can create this background, this blue sky type, just a sky type you can see, and you can say sky type background. So it's so when I see this title again and again in the original title, when I see again and again, so I just trying to figure out the idea how we can create this background inside After Effects. And I thought it's the most difficult part we are going to create inside After Effects. Then suddenly I thought, so let me show you what we created, what I did. First, make a composition 1920 by 1080 and 30 frames according to me. Create a new solid, right? And this is gonna be a background. So the most simple way to create this one is just create a new solid. So select your solid layer and just press Ctrl and space, and this is FX console. By the way, this is a free utility plugin, so you can search anything, just like here you can search here and you will just load your effect here. So I search here blah 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 blah, and all done. Here you can see literally this amazing background we created just typing blah 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 on FX console. And I am just kidding, because there is a no effect inside After Effects which is called blah 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 blah, right? So let me show you the proper way how you can create it. So just search noise, I mean the fractal noise, and you will see this will create some fractal noise, random gradient type fractal noise, right? So I'm not going to do anything in the brightness, contrast and any setting. I'm just going to the complexity, and I just put 1 or just put 2, right? And I go to the transform and just scale this whole composition like this, and I can change it to the dynamic or whatever you looks good, like dynamic is good. And here is the option of evaluation, so you can animate it if you want, right? So just click on the evaluation and go to the very end of your frames and just animate it like this, and just check the preview. looks good, not bad, looks good, right? If you want, you can just make it 1 complexity. And obviously you are thinking right now, this is not what we want, right? But wait, I'm moving on. The next step is creating a gradient for coloring it. So I'm going to choose 4 color gradient, right? And go over the blending mode and change it to the screen, alright, somewhere around our scene. So I'm going to change it to the according our title, right? And one side this, and here I'm going to choose white, and inside here I'm going to choose again the cyan color. Alright, so properly we done it, right? We can blend it more, and now you can see we are done, right? You can see we are done, somewhere around done. We can also change it the complexity if we want. In some cases, if you want a little bit more detailing, we can change it, but right now you can just go a little bit here, and you can also rotate it little bit if you want, but I don't want right now. So the first step for creating the background is completed. Right now let's move on the next step, and the next step is creating the text, like the Aquaman text. Here you can see the Aquaman text, right? So this is the most simplest step of the tutorial. So let me show you how you can create your own, right? So let's create a new text right now. First let's create a new text. Aquaman title, I just load a text called Aquaman. Right here you can see I'm going to choose the medium one and type with a capital letter X. So this is the Aquaman title. We can the next step is creating a new solid, and I'm going to rename it to the element 3D. E3D is the shortcut for element 3D, and just search element and go to the custom layer, custom text and mask, and choose to the Aquaman, and go to the scene setup and just click on this button. This is the main key to create the extrusion, I mean the 3D text, and this is the most hard part. So enough kidding, just click here and you will suddenly see your 3D text, and this is the most simplest. Remember I told you this is the simplest step of the tutorial, right? So we are halfway done, but we have to create the look of the text like our original, right? So little bit down the extrusion and expand edges. If you want, you can just down it, right? And the bevel size if you want. If you don't want, you can just adjust it and play with according whatever you want. So I'm going with this, right? Aquaman, and just select the extrusion model, and here is the option for bevel copy. So right now we have a 1 bevel, so I'm going to choose it to 2, right? And this is gonna be a sign material, right? So let's go to the Z offset, because this is the only way you can just move your text in the right position, right? And this gonna be our signer material. I will apply a signer material on this, right? So click on the sign material, and let me show you. There are the 2 steps. The main and basic step for creating the material, that reflective illumination material, is just open the motion design 2 model and go to the take components and open any of this and just unload it again, right? So you have a one material called light. You can just apply it directly here and you are good to go. But if you don't have the material, right, so let me apply here again and just remove unused material. So let me show you how you can create it. So go to the sign material and just don't touch anything, just go to the illumination and just make a color and enable the intensity, right? You are somewhere around, right? You can just play with go to the refraction, and you can make the same color. You can increase the intensity again. So we created something like that, right? Let's create a front material, right? So select the bevel and go to the basic settings, and here we will just choose something like this and make it 2, and the environment reflection I'm going to choose 200%, and the reflectivity I'm going to increase and make it like same. Right? We can change all of this material also in later. We can load up our environment if we want. So I'm going to load this environment. Go to the environment section and make it repeated little bit. Hit OK and select the model and make it to spherical. Perfect. Right now this looks perfect for me. Hit OK. Right. So add a new camera, and this gonna be a 35 mm. You can see it looks perfect, right? Scale it and you can see it looks perfect. Let me see the first one, right? And let me adjust it a little bit more. So reset the camera, transform and reset, right? Let me show you how you can create the Aquaman symbol. So actually what I did, I just make a mask like this. This is the mask I created, right? So I'm going to create a mask, rename it to the mask. Go to the element 3D layer, custom layer, and choose to the mask second layer. Go to the scene setup again. So let's duplicate the extrusion model, duplicate and select it, and go to the custom part and change it to the second one and make it here. And if you want, you can just make it a little bit bigger and place it here. Like, looks good right now. And for this material I want more reflection, so I will increase the reflectivity, also the refraction with the same color. But if you have a chrome material, you can also apply them here, right? And just change it to the reflectivity like this. And this is good, right? Add a little bit of diffuse of this color. So this is perfect. Right? So hit OK. You can see we are halfway done. Make them in a center, right? Little bit of center, right? And let's make the background in a 3D. Apply a 3D. Press P on here, or just double press P on here and just make in a very far away and just scale it like this, right? So now you can just freely rotate the camera a little bit, right? So now the next step is just animate. Let me add some settings, right? So go to the element 3D and go to the render setting, physical environment, and here we can just play with some of these. Go to the rotation environment and we can rotate the environment. Alright, you can see. Let's go again in the scene setup and let's change the environment and let's see how the result we got. So I think this looks also perfect. So I'm going to use this one, right? looks good. Even you can use the same background. Go to the render setting, custom layer. Reset it. Now let's add a reflection. So come over here in the very starting and just add a keyframe and go to the somewhere around the end of the video, and I just make the comp 11 seconds. So let's animate 2 times. So let's see the first preview, the environment rotation. If you think it's moving fast, you can just slow it down, otherwise you can just, yeah, this is moving very fast. So go in the end and just make it 1 time. So now it's also moving fast, right? So go here and just make it 0 and just animate it a little bit, and now it looks good, right? Now looks good. And if you think, you can animate also in other direction like this. Yeah, perfect, looks good. Right now we can also change it also in a later, and you can also tint out the reflection. Let me show you what I mean. Here you can see the reflection light is little bit white. If you think it's gonna be a blue or cyan color, you can also change it whatever you want. So I'm going with this. Now we have to animate our text. Here is a main composition. So you can see here, right, for getting these particles I use Trapcode Particular, but you can use Stardust, Fume Effects, X Particle, or even a pixel poly from After Effects. And you know I'm just joking because I use Trapcode Particular, and you can make this effect inside Fume Effects, X Particles and Stardust. But why you will use X Particle and Fume Effects? Because this is not a plugin from for After Effects, because Fume Effects is for 3ds Max and X Particle is for Cinema 4D. So better option for you is Trapcode Particular or Stardust. So I use Trapcode Particular, and it took a lot time for creating this and rendering this whole effect. I adjusted many settings for achieving this result. So it's up to you. If you want to recreate it, you can just create particles and you can just give a try. Literally give 1 try to recreate it, and I'm sure you can recreate it. But if you think I have a raw render of this fluid with RGB and alpha, you are absolutely right. And if you think I am giving it as assets, you are freaking amazing, because this is also a right. So for downloading these particles, check out my video description, so where I just put this particle animation, and you can download and use it, right? So come over the main composition and just load your particle fluid render, right? So I rendered in a, let me show you in a, right, you can see in a sequence. So here, from here, right? So in starting, we don't want our text so, right? So first we have to adjust and make a animation, right? Control S to save it. Go to the NPS3D layer and go to the effect and control and go to the group 1, right? So everything is in a group 1. So go to the scene setup and make some adjustment, right? So this is our symbol, I think. No, this is the text, and this gonna be a symbol. So go to the auxiliary animation and make it a channel number 2, or just make it a channel number 1, and this gonna be a channel number 2, right? So come over to group 1 auxiliary animation and then go to group channel 1, right? So here is the option force opacity. We can just off it or on it, right? So in starting here we don't want, and here from here we want, right? So come over here and just make 100% and come over here, and I don't want it, right? So let me show you. Looks good, right? Because here is no and here it's coming up, right? And for the text we want the same, right? So go to the channel number 2 and the force opacity, and from here I want our channel is make it 0. Channel start seeing right over here is 100%, right? So let's see the small preview how it's coming. I want this fluid is interact with this one, so press U to bring out this stopwatches, these keyframes. So this is a, let me increase here somewhere out. It looks good. Control S to save it. If you want, you can just select it and go to the keyframe assistant and easy in, and same for this one. And let's check it one more time. And if you think it's coming very fast, we can just make it a little bit less, like here. So right, looks good right now. Control S. Now let's make a animation for this text of Aquaman, right? So I think we did a mistake because I have to choose this symbol in another group and this text in another group, but let's see how it's work, right? So go to the particle look, go to the deform and enable deform, right? And go to the rotation, right? So I'm going to rotate it like here, so and here this gonna be 0. Press U and select both of these and go to the keyframe assistant easy in and select it and go to the graph editor and make it like this. Let's see, not looking good. So select both this again and go to the keyframe assistant and easy, and now we have to make it like this because it slowly start moving like this, boom, right? So let's see the full result. It's moving very fast, right? So press U, select it and make it little bit here and make it like this. Let's see again. It's again moving very fast. And make it little bit slow. Right? We can also go to the values and make it more, less rotation, right? You can see it looks good, right? Or this looks good, fine, this looks good. A little bit less, more or less. right? Control S to save it. And obviously I did a mistake, right? Well, the mistake is if I put this symbol is in another group when we so right now we are animating the rotation of the text. That time the symbol is also rotating, so if I will put this in another group, this will not rotate, right? So if you want, you can just make it, or just let me fix it because I don't like it. So go to the scene setup, make this symbol in another group, hit OK, and the only problem is the opacity. So come over the group number 2, particle look, and the force opacity. Key the frame and come over here and make in a 100%, and let's see the result. Perfect, right? Control D, press U, and just easy. And now let's come over the rotation of the text and just make it more rotation, right? Somewhere around looks good, right? Control S to save the project. And now let's add a camera animation. So go to the camera, go to the 8 second, let's create go to the NPS3D. So we are just done more than half away, right? Just full resolution, go to the render settings and go to the ambient occlusion and just enable it and just increase it, right? So this is also looks good, but let's check the ray trace, make it 1 before and after, and you can just work on the gamma, the maximum distance. So I'm going to choose 62 around, so it looks good right now. And if you think, you can just add little bit fog also. Let me show you how. Go to the fog, enable fog, go to the fog and just make this, enable it and just increase the value and range, count and start. A little bit of interaction before and after. So let's see the preview. Right now, so you can see looks good. And you can change the text anytime. Tutorial and make in a center, and let's create one more text. You can see it looks perfect right now. And for adding more details, you can add a lens flare. Looks good. and you can, by the way, change the title anytime, and we can change the all things anytime, right? And you will see the better and good result all the time. And even you can just duplicate the flare and place it anywhere around the scene. And if you're not happy with the position of this text, we can just move this a little bit down, and little bit more few things I will show you. Go to the render setting, is completely go to the output option and make it some super sampling, enhancement, desampling, and the sampling and aliasing is 2. And let's go to the create a new solid, the adjustment layer, and put it before this cinematic fill. And the adjustment, let's create a lumetri, color collection, go to the creative and faded field. If you want, you can just increase or decrease. I don't want. Basically, I created this for the vignette, and I know I can create with manually also, but right now I'm preferring this one, and the roundness and the midpoint. So before and after looks good. Let's create one more adjustment layer and just apply a curves effect and make it little bit, and go to the blue, little bit blue. And if you think this is too much of the color, we can just go to the hue and saturation, and you can just down the saturation. But if you think it's low, you can just increase it a little bit more, right? So Ctrl S to save, and this is the final result of the Aquaman. So let's play it with the music. Alright, so you can see the title with music, and this looks amazing, right? So all done, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial, and I hope you like the tutorial, and I will create many more tutorials soon. So this is finished, and if you new on my channel, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get notification whenever I upload any videos, any work on YouTube. And if you have any query or any problem, you can just leave a message on a comment box, or you can just directly leave a message on social media, and you can obviously follow me on Instagram, where I put new things. So thanks for loving me, thanks for supporting me, thanks for watching my video. I am NPS3D, and we will see you next time with a great tutorial. That's it for now.